always start like this. Are you recording?
Yeah, I've been recording for a while just in case anything funny happened.
Oh, right, okay.
It was worth capturing anything.
This one deserves a different intro.
Nope.
It's a thinky one, this song.
This song's a bit... yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that just the way that the guitar riff is? Makes you think?
Yeah. If you count every single time, it changes time signature. It changes 97 times. It's all just like 7, 4, 3 or something.
Not quite as impressive as Dream Theater then, is it? Where it changes every bar.
I thought about doing it, like trying to beat that at one point, but...
How many times is that one? Is it like 110 or something?
But that's way more complicated because there's like tempo changes and all that, like metric modulation.
Yeah. So... Can write
yeah,
that.
well, if I try to write some... Like, if I go out and, like, let's make this really complicated, it just ends up sounding really bad. So I just am like, there's no point. I just write whatever I think sounds cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. 108. 108
really?
time signature changes.
Really?
Yeah. In Dance Eternity. There you go.
So this one was the last one written for the initial EP, the Catalyst EP. And I think at the time, I don't know how I wrote this because it's weird. There's lots of harmonically, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
I think I was listening to Animals as Leaders and Guthrie a lot, but there's no thought process behind the chords at all. It was like, let's just pick a load of weird shapes and try to glue them together. Really, but it's all like. It's like chord shape, especially how you play it. It's like chord shapes moving into other chord shapes, but it's all like picked, so it's a melody that's going through them. So I was probably thinking more of the melody rather than what chords they were. But I'm pretty sure it modulates a few times, maybe. I don't know. It's got that semitone shift, doesn't it, in the middle? That's a bit quirky, a bit goofy. Bit mysterious, maybe that's what more mysterious.
Yeah, I remember bashing this one out as the first. I think it was probably one of the earlier rehearsals when I joined the band. I remember jamming that one out, and it at the time nearly killed me because I was just like, because of all the different changes, finding where to put the downbeat. Was just...
I remember having a conversation with you about you wanted to do across the bar like cymbal work or something, and I remember saying just like it's so complicated with the changes, just make them so deliberate because there's no point, and this is how I think you should approach, well, you don't have to, but a way of approaching rhythms, if you want to do it like me, is don't over complicate it. You know, that if you want it to have loads of time signature changes, make that the moment. You know, make each thing really deliberate. If you want it to be more obscure and there's a clear rhythm, then make it so there's like the downbeat and whatever, you know, like more genty or whatever, you know. But especially with this song, because it was so deliberately chunks of time signatures. It's like, make sure, you know, each bar is counted the way it should be. But I always go on and off this song. I sometimes think it's really good, and then I'm like, I don't know. I think the ending is great.
Yeah,
it gets heavy.
The last bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when the lead comes in, this is the first time where I was happy with how the guitars were sounding, because I was using someone else's computer and some good headphones and the Nolly.
Was that through the Nolly? Was it that one?
Yeah, it was.
Right.
It was. I made all the tones. Like, actually made all the presets myself. Yeah. And then I've forgotten what I did because it was on someone else's computer, so I just don't have access to those tones. I could probably get something similar, but But that was just like messing around, being like tweaking things. It was good fun. Yeah, and then obviously got sent to you, and then you sorted it, made it better.
That one we record. Where did we record that? Did we record that in my space?
I think you did the drums separately because this was right up before COVID, wasn't it? It was like
I think you were there and you sort of directed me for that one. I think.
Did I?
I think so because it was while I was. We changed it round, so you were in the booth, with the door shut. Yeah, and I was in the main room.
I vaguely remember
there.
this.
And occasionally you just kind of like open the door and be like, can we not do that? Like, try that.
Was my brother
Try
there?
doing it there. I don't think so. I think it was just you. He might have been.
Because he was there for the Regenerate one.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. I don't think so. I think it was just you. So I think you would.
Yeah, I might have been. Yeah, I certainly like change that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly though. Yeah, that was a hidden memory. I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Really.
No, I remember that.
I remember being in the booth, opening the door, being like,
that was when
crazy.
I
didn't feel in charge back then, but I guess I was.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. That was the first. After I'd intimidated you, producing your solo, Regenerate, you then took charge for Exulansis.
Yeah.
Not my job. No.
But that was around.
Not my song.
When did we? This was a February release, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was February, or was it? No, wait.
I thought it was after that, to be honest.
No, it was February. I can look. I'll look. Have a look.
Yeah, you've got the.
I got the app.
You got bits.
I got the deets.
February. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. I know the details.
Well, it's your song.
Well, yeah. But yeah, I like the ending. I like the riffy bit, and then the beginning bit. The whole point was it to kind of build and get more distorted as it went.
Yeah.
But because it's so weird and the repeats are quite displaced because of the rhythms, sometimes I'm like, yeah, this is really cool, and then sometimes I'm like, this just goes on for too long. Maybe.
I think it's worth it for that ending. That sort of grandiose and massive ending. It was the first. I think that's the first time in a song you've sort of crammed as much as you can in terms of ambient guitars and just synths and everything in that last bit.
I love that synth line. The yeah, that's one of my favourite things I've written.
Is a good synth line, that. It's good.
Yeah.
It blends really nice as well, that synth.
I was really into doing tapping and synth at the same time at the time.
Yeah.
I think that's a good example of it. It was cool. But I remember we were doing the first tour we ever did when this was kind of in the works.
Was that the?
That was with Rituals
and Rituals. Yeah.
With Drones and Rituals, yeah. Because we played it and then I was like, yeah, when Tom finishes this, we'll release it. I think the Glasgow one.
Yeah, that must have been. Wait, was that tour in 2019? That one, the first one.
Yes. Yeah.
Was it? Oh, right.
No, 2020. February 2020.
Oh, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, of course. Yeah, because it was just before COVID, wasn't it?
So we did that, and then we released this. We then did the Chelmsford gig. And that was right at the end of March, and then COVID hit.
Yeah, COVID hit. Yeah.
And then we tried to.
And then I got a ticket for.
Yeah, you did for
freaking. Yeah.
Rubbish. But that tour was fun. We made some good friends.
Yeah.
Still speak to them occasionally.
Yeah. Hopefully still gig with them occasionally.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Until they leave us behind.
Yeah. They wouldn't do that.
Maybe. Yeah, this was kind of bookend of the first kind of introduction of the band, I guess.
Yeah.
Those first 4 songs were really kind of, they'd been written for ages, and it was just like, let's get these out. And then
because
and then it was on to this, and then the album was kind of a collection of songs that I thought were really specific and made sense together. Well, next time.